Hello and welcome to yet another mini-cast of the day in film. I hope you all enjoyed your weekend, and I'm very happy to see my response on the Whiplash video. Before I get into it, I obviously have to ask you to like and subscribe. I'm very happy with where we are right now, but, it could never hurt to want more subscribers. With that all out of the way, I want to jump right into this movie because I literally just finished it like 15 minutes ago. On the date of September 23rd, Monday, 2024, I Saw the TV Glow, directed by Jane Schoenberg, I want to say her name, their name is pronounced, sorry, and starring Justice Smith. So this movie's been on my radar for a while. I'm quite a fan of Jane Schoenberg's other work. I've seen their only other feature film, We're All Going to the World's Fair, which is a personal favorite of mine. I think that movie is a modern-day masterpiece, for my own reasons, and I'm not going to go into that right now because I'm not making a video on We're All Going to the World's Fair. But I Saw the TV Glow came out earlier this year, I want to say in February or something like that. I had incredibly high expectations for this movie. I really wanted it to be good, and I was super bummed when I found out they weren't actually playing it in my local movie theater. I really wanted to see it because at that time I hadn't seen any other Jane Schoenberg works, but the visual aesthetic and the colors and the purple and all that, it kind of made me kind of want to watch it. Just purely off the visuals and the concept of old TV and that classic line in the trailer. It's like, do you like girls? And he goes, oh, I like TV shows. It's little things like that. They just caught my eye and my ear, and I couldn't help but want to watch this movie. And finally it comes out to Max, not a free streaming service, but a streaming service that I have. I don't have to pay-per-view it. And I'd say overall I'm very happy with the film. But I really do wish it was a lot better. I was really comparing this a lot to We're All Going to the World's Fair, not like from a story standpoint, but just from a directorial standpoint and an emotion standpoint, I guess. I really personally connected to that film, and a lot of the things I most like about Jane Schoenberg's directorial style is featured in, her first feature-length film, and I really didn't see a lot of it in this film. Whereas We're All Going to the World's Fair is a lot more personal and warm and close to the main character. This movie feels, in contrast, very distant and cold to Owen. And I think that's purposeful, not to go into the details of the story, but when you find out what's probably happening to him, it makes a lot more sense. But even if it makes sense in the context of the story, it still doesn't feel great to watch. I think the constant time jumps as well definitely hurt the movie's enjoyability. It makes everything feel kind of stakeless almost. And the kind of peppering in of the actual only really interesting character, which kind of hurts to say because Justice Smith is a very talented actor, but the way he's directed in this movie, and it's the way his character is written, I'm just not huge on it. The other character, Maddie, or Bridget Lundy Payne, I think her name is pronounced, she is definitely the star of the film, or not the star of the film, but she's definitely the character I like the most in this movie. She feels very, she's like the typical weird girl, and watching her interact with Owen, who is also kind of the weird boy, there's something about it that just kind of makes my heart tickle a little, But I mean, that's pretty much all the negatives I have for this movie, and I know those are two pretty big things I have to say. But and also, before I move on, I think the story is a little sloppy, which I kind of already mentioned, but I have to mention it again just to be sure that I did. But other than that, this movie is a very good example of what Jane Schoenberg is capable of. I think one of this film's biggest pros, as weird as it is to compliment as a main pro, is its lighting. I think Jane Schoenberg is not a master, but incredibly talented in directing the way that their scenes are lit. Especially they use this motif a couple times. It's the staticking TV flashing onto the character's face in the hallway or whatever. Just the way it lights up the room and their face, and it feels flickering and it's moving and it feels kind of warm but also mechanical. It does a lot for the actual story, and it really makes you feel nostalgic, even if you didn't grow up in this kind of era, and I didn't either. It still makes me feel nostalgic for a time that I may not have even enjoyed. And I think this is one of I Saw the TV Glow's biggest pros. It feels so personal, and it feels so nostalgic, like I said, but also so foreign. You know, it's things that if you told yourself you did 5 years ago for a week, then right now you'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did that. And that's even kind of referenced in the film near the end, where Owen is rewatching Pink. I'm forgetting the name right now, but whatever it's called, when he's watching that the show that the whole film is based around. I think the film kind of not misleads you, but kind of tricks you into thinking it's going to be a more direct horror. There's a short scene with the ice cream man or whatever the character's called near the start of the movie, and he looks grotesque and disgusting, and it's a really impressive practical effect. And the whole movie I was kind of hoping that more of that would come, but it definitely veers more towards psychological and like all in your head horror, which is not a bad thing at all. I think it does wonders for the kind of film that this is, but I kind of wish they managed to integrate it a little bit more. And speaking on the horror, or if you can even call it horror, because it does feel like a half semi-horror kind of thing, it's hard not to appreciate just how much this movie gets in your head. A lot of movies, you'll watch them, and even if you're like me and you really love film, you'll only really remember how you felt about the movie for a week or two. But a film like this, and again, this is all Jane Schoenberg's directorial style and the way they directed their film. Seriously, I'm sorry. It really makes you remember how you were feeling during the watching. Like, I still remember exactly how I felt watching We're All Going to the World's Fair. And I loved We're All Going to the World's Fair, and I'd say I really like I Saw the TV Glow. I think most of the actors are pretty good. All of the younger and older versions of each character are pretty great. And the pure focus on Owen, especially, I think is a really great idea. It really is his story, even if his story isn't always the most interesting. There are a lot of moments in this film where he's just kind of doing something, like he's working at the movie theater, or he's sitting in his room watching TV. It's things like that that are really cool. And again, the whole the concept of not really living your own life and being a viewer, it kind of reminded me of The Sunken Place and Get Out, which is a very great Jordan Peele movie. But other than that, I don't really have much more to say about the film. The score, yes, the score. The score is excellent. Jane Schoenberg is incredible at picking out music for their movies. We're All Going to the World's Fair possessed a fantastic original soundtrack, and I can't say if all the songs in this film were originally made for it, but if they weren't, they fit the aesthetic that Jane was going for perfectly. Because man, like, something about the setting, I would say where I wanna say Midwest, but I don't know my cardinal direction, guys. I don't know where that is. Just seeing the copy and paste houses, the slanted roads with chalk all over the asphalt, the only local school, the local movie theater that closes down after a bit. I've never lived in a place. I've lived in the desert all my life, guys, and even I feel nostalgic for this place. I've never even been somewhere like that. I've never even driven. I've never even been through a town like that. Forgive me. Yeah, that's actually all I have to say. Visuals excellent, acting very good, story a little weak, but I appreciate what they were going for. This is a very good 7 out of 10 movie, and it's most certainly worth a watch. And now for real, that's all I have to say. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the theaters.